Today, leaves on the trees bloom alone, unbothered. Death had his deserved day off. Scythes thrown, robes aside, no traces was left behind, and so they thought. It's just that it is bored, craving for fascination. Something. Death was never kind to you. It just wants you to suffer, and that's all it cares. And so, here we are. Ship is yet to sail. Come aboard. Lots of goods needed to unpack today. And by the way, have you heard about this little weapon called Mutalist Cernos? It is not something that most of you will actually care about. It is not a type of those, oh my god, funny encounter weapons, but nonetheless, it is criminally underrated for its versatility and power that this little bow holds. Though I would like to go through the intricacies of Mutalist Cernos, but that is a whole rabbit hole on its own. The video itself will be way too long to be kept interesting. I can recommend you some videos about Mutalist Cernos if you want a detailed explanation. In short, the bow produces toxin clouds that lingers and forces toxin procs per tick on hit. And there is a good chance where you can proc once more due to its very high base status chance of 49%. And with the build I choose to go today. Generally, I prefer quick shots over charged shots. It is personal preferences, but do whatever you like. Quick shot is faster and has the multi-CO property, but lose the plus 4000% damage on cloud when you are doing the slower charged shots. And clouds produced by both modes can scale with CO if the arrow hits an enemy and produce a cloud. Speaking of which, since the main source of damage for today are the toxin clouds, a toxin mod is a no-brainer. And because the toxin cloud is a part of the weapon, you can proc split flights extremely well and quick, which makes this also a no-brainer choice. And as explained before, since its quick shot has multi-CO property, galvanized aptitude is advised. Despite the naturally lower crit chance, the typical crit mods are still advised, and this can be pushed to 70% with the help of puncture procs. This can be outsourced with either piercing raw or supplement it from a primer that can consistently provide max puncture procs. Since headshot that crits deal 2x more damage, which is further increased by the use of primary deadhead. Finally, a reload speed mod for faster DPS. You can choose either point fast hand or radiated reload. Either is fine, and with all these, there are still two open slots for grabs. One is for Continuous Misery, one is for Rival Elementalist. Rival Elementalist is understandable due to it being a separate buff for our Toxin DOT, which is more damage. But why Continuous Misery? Continuous Misery is a kind of mod that you probably don't even care about. With many mods being way better for damage, it is easy to dismiss this mod and deem it as trash. Occasionally, it does appear in primer builds where longer status duration is welcome. But for damage purposes, it is not something that you will consider in the first hand until... Expedite Suffering is an ability that allows all slash and toxin status effect on a target that is within 12 meters 45-degree cone to be combined into a single instance of damage, and has a final multiplier of 1x that scales with power strength. To calculate the potential Expedite Suffering damage, it can be simplified into status amount times status damage times status duration times power strength. Say you have 3 slash procs on a target, each deals 100,000 and each procs lasts for 6 seconds, and you have 200% power strength on your desired frame. Expedite Suffering should deal 3 times 100,000 times 6 times 2 equals 3.6 million. I think you can see it by now. Status duration directly affects the damage of Expedite Suffering due to it being an ability that brings forward all slash and toxin DOT into a single instance of hit, and thus, this is why Continuous Misery is modded, despite there are better choices. It allows status duration to be fully utilized instead of just a waste of mod slot. And both Rifle Elementalist and Continuous Misery plays an important role on maximizing the potential Expedite Suffering damage. As now we are into the setups we will be executing today, the typical roll moment has to be in because it is Rhino Lemao. Builds and shots are whatever, just tune it to your liking, but this is what I go for. Piercing roll is not really demanded, put whatever you like over there. For me, this is just to allow 1 to 2 more status and 80% less damage from enemies. Overall, it is just quality of life stuff that you are not forced to equip. Finally, the primer. Instead of the popular choices, I choose to go with Hystrix Prime today for a few clear reasons. Obviously, it can guarantee me max puncture procs on Demolists consistently, and because of its quill mechanics, I can switch to Ice Quill for force hold procs on top of viral like Epitaph, while benefit more on the use of secondary and encumber due to its high fire rate and good status chance. Its voice loud but ends abruptly. Bunch of ramblings after left without a trace. Odd. Too odd. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? So that's how it ends its job. Naive of you to think that its job will ever end like this. It all was just the beginning.